All right, today we're going to do something kind of cool. We're going to follow a single breath on its incredible journey through the human respiratory system, from the air all around us, all the way to becoming the fuel that powers your every move. So let's dive in.
So let's start with something we've all felt, right? You go for a run, maybe climb a bunch of stairs, and boom, you're huffing and puffing. Why does that happen? Well, it's pretty simple. Your body is demanding more oxygen to create energy, and the only way to get it is from the air you breathe. This analogy just perfectly captures how vital oxygen is. Think about it. A car without fuel, a pool without water, they're useless, right? That's our body without oxygen. It's not just important, it's the very fuel that keeps the whole show running. Without it, everything just stops. Okay, so let's actually do this. Let's trace the path of one single breath. We're going to see how the air you're breathing right now gets from out there deep into your body to deliver that must-have oxygen. And trust me, it's a way more fascinating trip than you might think. So, step one of the journey, it all starts in your nose. The air comes in, and right away, these tiny little hairs in your nostrils act like a first line of defense, trapping dust and other gunk. From there, the air heads down the windpipe. That's the trachea. It does even more filtering before it gets to a fork in the road, splitting into two big branches called the bronchi. These are like the direct highways into each of your lungs. Okay, but let's zoom in a little closer on those airways, because this part is wild. They're lined with these incredible microscopic hairs called cilia. I want you to picture them moving back and forth, like this perfectly coordinated wave. They're basically a tiny conveyor belt, pushing a protective layer of mucus up and out and safely away from your delicate lungs. And what's on that conveyor belt? Mucus. Yeah, I know, it's not the most glamorous topic, but it's an absolutely genius defense system. This sticky stuff is like flypaper for anything that got past the first filter. We're talking germs, dust, you name it. It makes sure the air reaching your lungs is as clean as it can possibly be. All right, so the air has been cleaned up, it's traveled down the pipes, and now it's arrived the main event, the lungs. This is where the real magic happens. This is the whole point of the journey. And here's a super cool fact for you. Your lungs aren't actually identical twins. The right one has 3 sections, or lobes, but the left one only has 2. So why is that? Well, your left lung is a little bit smaller to make room for your heart. It's this perfect, efficient piece of natural design. Now, if we could zoom in even deeper, deep inside those lobes, we'd find millions, literally millions, of these tiny, spongy air sacs called alveoli. These are the real MVPs of the respiratory system. This is the place where the air you just breathed in finally gets to meet your bloodstream. And this is the spot where the great exchange goes down. It's like a super fast, super efficient transaction. The alveoli fill up with that fresh, oxygen-rich air. Then, this dense web of blood vessels wrapped around them just snatches up the oxygen. And at the exact same moment, the blood drops off its waste product, carbon dioxide, which you then breathe out. It's this constant, life-sustaining swap happening all day long. So, we've seen the pathway, we've seen the exchange, but what's actually making it all happen? What's the engine that powers every single breath without you even having to think about it? Let's go check out the engine room. Okay, meet the diaphragm. It's this big, dome-shaped muscle that sits right under your lungs. And how it works is both simple and powerful. When you breathe in, it contracts and pulls down. This creates a vacuum that sucks air into your lungs. Then, when you breathe out, it just relaxes, moves back up, and pushes the air out. That's it. Simple, brilliant, and totally automatic. Oh, and the diaphragm is a bit of a multitasker too. It doesn't just power your breathing, it also acts as a physical wall, separating your chest cavity, where your heart and lungs live, from your abdominal cavity down below, where you've got your stomach, liver, and all that. All right, so we've covered the whole journey and the mechanics behind it. Now, to wrap things up, I've got a couple of wild facts for you that really put into perspective just how hard your respiratory system works. Get this, 20,000. That's about how many breaths an average person takes every single day. 20,000 times a day. This entire super complex process just happens, all without you giving it a single thought. I mean, that's just astounding when you think about it. And for my final bit of trivia, here's a bizarre but true fact for you. Because your lungs are filled with millions of those tiny air sacs we talked about, they're the only organs in your entire body that are light enough to float on water. How's that for a fun fact?
So when you boil it all down, this whole amazing journey of a single breath happens completely on its own, on autopilot. And that kind of leaves you with a big question, doesn't it? If breathing is this sophisticated and your body just does it, what other incredible things are going on inside you right now that you don't even have to think about?